complete no-go. Emilie stopped pacing and tapped the face of her watch, then pressed it to her ear. The steady tick-tick affirmed it was working. What wasn't working was Kaylene's promise to meet her 45 minutes before the hearing at the Haven, the nonprofit that served women who wanted to escape difficult domestic situations. She had waited in her office as long as she could before calling Kaylene's cell phone, a call that went directly to voicemail. She'd left a message and then told Taylor Adele, her paralegal, that she was headed to court. Maybe Kaylene had misunderstood where they were meeting. She could be a nervous wreck, waiting outside the courtroom for Emilie to arrive. Emilie had almost convinced herself that was exactly what had happened until she reached the broad hallway outside the courtroom and couldn't find her client. She pulled her cell phone from her briefcase and called Taylor. "Any sign of Kaylene?" "None." "You're sure? She's got to be somewhere." There was a churning in her gut that left Emilie unsettled, fearing what could have happened. In the practice of law, clients were people you served during normal business hours and then forgot about when you left the office. Somewhere in her 3 years at the Haven, that had stopped working. She sometimes woke up in the middle of the night, panicking over a client situation, and this was such a case. Kaylene's situation bordered on tenuous, even after all the detailed planning and careful work. Her home life was one spark away from erupting, and there was so little Emilie could do to prevent it or protect Kaylene and her girls. "Want me to keep calling?" Taylor's words penetrated her worried mind. "Yes, I need to know she's okay. She probably got snagged in traffic somewhere. You know how 66 is. Stop and go all hours of the day." That was exactly why she'd bought a townhouse that was ridiculously expensive, but also incredibly close to where she worked. Vehicles were made to move, not sit in lanes of traffic. "You're likely right. Let me know if you reach her." Meanwhile, Emilie would check the courtroom just in case Kaylene had slipped around her. An unlikely scenario, but she felt ripples of desperation. The courtroom was quiet, the dark wood lining the walls somber and weighty. It was surprisingly empty for a Monday morning, a circumstance that would change in the coming minutes unless the judge had canceled the general motion hour. That happened if the court had a jury trial or a series of hearings calendared. This morning, the only people in the courtroom were a court reporter seated at a computer near the front of the room and the judge. Judge Emma Franklin had served the people of Alexandria City for 15 years. She glanced up from the file resting on the large desk in front of her and acknowledged Emilie. "You ready, Miss Wesley?" "Not quite, Your Honor. My client is on her way." She hoped. "Can we have a few more minutes?" "The hearing is slated to begin in 5, and I have 10 minutes after that." "This won't take long. I'm sure she's looking for parking." The judge slid reading glasses down her nose and eyed Emilie, her gaze direct and not without warmth. "You understand your client has to be here to receive a temporary protective order?" "Yes, Your Honor." Emilie fought to keep her tone respectful. The judge knew she understood that. "I'll check the hallway for her again. The courthouse can be intimidating." "It's easy to forget that when one works here. Good luck." Judge Franklin turned back to her files, and Emilie hurried to the doors leading to the hall. The moment she exited the courtroom, she stepped to the side and pulled out her cell. A text from Taylor flashed on her screen. Still no answer. Emilie frowned and pulled up Kaylene's number. She hit call and waited for what felt like forever for anyone to pick up. Something was wrong. She hit redial, and still no one picked up. The call finally went to voicemail, and she left a brief message. "Kaylene, tell me you're okay." When she'd started working with domestic violence victims, Emilie had naively believed she could fix their lives, or at least take her skill with words and use it to help these women navigate their turbulent lives. She'd learned the hard way it wasn't that simple.